Once again, welcome to the War Room. Our Granada series continues at full speed. We have finished annexing most of our vassals here in Iberia. We have taken a huge chunk out of France. We have left them as a landlocked country, as silly as that might sound. And we are expanding in the Americas at full speed. Our colonies over here have already occupied all of the eastern seaboard. We have a huge Texas. We defeated the Mesoamericans, so all of Mexico is under our command, except for a pesky village over here, one defiant village of Gauls, and we are expanding quickly in South America as well. Now in this episode I intend to conquer all of the Andean nations in order to end our expansion into South America, and we will probably deal with the remaining North American holdouts as well. And at that point, it will just be us and the endless societies of pops and random unsettled tribes over here that we will have to conquer in order to bend the Americas to our will. Let's take a quick look at the ledger. We are the 7th most populous country in the world. We are the most populous country in Europe by a fairly wide margin, and this does not even count the pops that we have in our vassals, even those in Iberia and North Africa. And if we look at the income, we are the 5th richest country in the world. We have the 5th highest income, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised by that, because I haven't even been optimizing for income. Like, this trade income could certainly be in the 1,000 range right now. We could have a much higher tax income. I kind of stopped urbanizing and developing my homeland as soon as I started getting colonies up, because honestly, these guys take a lot of money. Just look at that. They cost us almost 1,400 ducats a month, which is larger than the budgets of all but 7 countries here. And that is just insane. We also have the 3rd highest great power score of all the countries in the world. We are the 3rd greatest power. There's no way we can like shine any light on the great Chen. They have 100 million people living in their borders, which is absolutely crazy. Insane numbers in China as always. They have an income of almost 11,000 ducats. Just wow. We can't really hope to match them, but who knows how many people we will have in our empire once the Americas have been colonized. So anyways, that's what we've been up to so far, and I have completely eschewed Europe, Africa, the old world. I'm just ignoring the Christians here. They do occasionally declare a crusade on me, but honestly, who cares? I can just white piece them out within 1 or 2 years using very few mercenaries. So again, our goal is complete domination over the Americas, and I'm going to go back to colonizing even more land over here. Ah, well, speak of the devil. Another crusade has been called on us. I would be lying if I say we are ready for it, but honestly, let them come. I mean, I'm just going to piece them out in a couple years with a white piece anyways. It might get a bit hairy if like Poland, the Teutons, England and Scotland, they all join like they did last time, but for now, I'm just going to sit back and say, hello Crusaders, welcome! Did you know that in EuropaUniversalisV, your colonial nations can fight each other, and there's nothing you can do to stop it? There's no way you can enforce peace, because they are your subject. And honestly, I think this is just ridiculous. Like, this should definitely be changed in the next patch or something, but I know that it's going to stay this way for probably years on end, because nobody plays a colonial game like this. I guess what I'm going to do here is I'll let them fight it out. I will start improving relations with Chesapeake, and I'm presuming that Chesapeake will take a big bite out of Portuega here. So I will just transfer back all of the land that they take in the war, and we will go back to status quo antebellum. Also, I just randomly clicked on the Protestant Reformation, and turns out Luther died 22 days ago. And about a third of Europe has converted to Lutheranism. Most of Germany seems to have converted. The Nordics are pretty Lutheran from the way it seems. England has quite a lot of Protestants going on here. I think is that these are Catholics, but are those Calvinists that I'm seeing? No, not necessarily. Not all of Calvinists. I think Calvinism didn't really take off all that much because all the Protestants I can see here are either Hussites or Lutherans, and quite a few Lutherans here. But anyways, Europe is theoretically tearing itself apart in the war of religions, and would you look at that? Instead of fighting the Protestants, they decide to declare the Fourth Crusade against Granada. These Catholics, they will never learn, will they? Looks like we have a new challenger. I don't think Austria had ever joined a crusade against us before. But we'll beat them. We'll beat them just as well as we beat the French, which is quite well. I mean, just look at that. If you're going to make white peace after 3 battles, why do you even bother declaring the war in the first place? The AI in this game. Anyways, this should keep us safe for another 5-10 years, during which time we will probably have most of North America colonized. We have a pretty hard time having confessionalism spread to our country, which is somewhat annoying because this is the big institution of this era. Like, this is the one that unlocks the government reform, the extra cabinet seat, all of that stuff. So ideally you want to embrace it as soon as possible, but in this case it's taking its sweet time. Like, we'll have it in Carmona in 10 months, in Cordoba in how long does that make? 8 years, something like that. So it's going to be a while before we can embrace that one. And I'm really anxious to get my hands on that. And just when I was thinking about how to attack Lupijaki, my colonial nation just called me in. That is lovely. So we can raise a small band of mercenaries. They only have something like 6,000 levies here. I guess 2,000-3,000 will do. And do they even have fortresses? No, they don't even have any fortified locations either. I mean, we are going to be locked out of moving here when winter starts, and wow, it's October and they already have normal winter in quite a few of their locations. Yikes. I guess when spring comes, so in March, we'll just march in, no pun intended, and we can full annex them and feed them to our vassal, or maybe release them for the time being to prevent rebellions. I don't know, we'll see, but this should be a fairly easy war here. Well, that went about as well as could be expected for the Andeans. And now their armies are destroyed. We've already occupied around half of their country, and the rest will follow in a moment. Actually, I might even be able to get a full annexation here immediately. Interesting. Okay, so that bugged out just a little, but why can't I? Okay, I can. Interesting. Oh boy. Just taking this land is a pain. Like, simply clicking on the provinces doesn't add it. Tons of bugs and stuff. There we go. There we go. So that's going to be a full annexation. Lovely. and I will feed the rest of the land to my colony as well. I am 100% certain that they will never ever be able to exercise control over this land, but I mean, at least they have it and not some Andean upstart. And let's see, I do want to take my soldiers. Why is this? Oh, they're probably, but they shouldn't be. Yeah, it's April, almost May, and there's still winter here. But what I'm going to do is, once the snow has cleared from the mountains, I'm going to take these guys north, and hopefully I will be able to use them to bonk the Chimu as well. In how long is that exactly? In 10 months, or even 8 months. I just realized something very silly. We're in the southern hemisphere. So winter here is probably in summer. Oh my god. So these guys are stuck until next October, I guess. Well, that's quite alright. I won't have the CB until then anyways. What? I have no idea what's going on. So our vassal attacked another vassal and we got called in, and now we are fighting our vassal. Oh boy. I mean, it's not that we can't win, it's just, again, this literally makes no sense. I'm just going to fight it out and then annex them and integrate their lands the old-fashioned way. In the meantime, we have gained a religious war casus belli on Chimu and Comatlan as well, but that's going to come later. I'm fairly certain that the Southern Army is stuck. Like, they have no way of getting here. They can get up to here, but that's of no use to us, so I hired another mercenary band up north, and I'm going to destroy the Chimu using that mercenary band instead of the one we had hired earlier. So that's going to be a declaration of war, and religious war it is. And we have a new Khalifa. This time, he is reasonably young, 39 years old, and the crown prince is 22 years old, and he's a Chad. Look at that. 71 admin, 84 dip, 72 mil. I swear, if this guy dies in a hunting accident, I'm just going to crash the game. Fingers crossed, he lives and he ascends to the throne, and in order to increase the likelihood of that, I am going to make my ruler. Where is my ruler? Guess I can, there we go, ruler. What? What are you? Oh, right. So he was already the ruler in Brittany. I have to wait a month to get him to move to my country. Wait, that still doesn't work for some reason. Okay, I guess I bugged out. Can we search for him? No. He's not in our country for some reason. As usual, it makes literally zero sense, but whatever, it will fix itself eventually. Well, that was easy. The Chimu have lost, and now they're going to lose their existence. This is going to be a full annexation, as you're all used to by now. And as soon as the war in Iberia is over, I'm going to feed all of this land to my vassal. So these guys just straight out seceded from Raritan. I couldn't do anything. Now I'm going to conquer land, which I have already conquered again for whatever reason. But, you know, I guess it could be worse. Oh, would you look at the time? It's crusading o'clock. Just, why do you even bother? Why do you even bother? It's not the first crusade. This is like the 6th crusade against Granada. Well, anyways, you know, this would actually be fun if I could actually get like land over here or some something else, just something, if I could get anything out of fighting these wars instead of, simply having to white piece them, it could actually be fun. But right now, this is just a pain. It's just a boring, repetitive task that I have to do every 5 years instead of being able to focus on the Americas the way that I want. It's the same old story. Crusade gets declared, I hire mercenaries, the mercenaries beat their armies, they accept the white peace. 280,000 dead. Lovely. And now I'm going to commit genocide on these mercenaries in order to reduce my mercenary maintenance. Our rebellious vassal has been fully occupied, and now they are fully annexed. I'm going to do something that I haven't done all that much. In fact, I don't think I've ever done it. Oh, I think I've done it once. I'm going to integrate this province instead of, just annexing the vassal. And if you look over here, we only have 2, 4, 6, 7 vassals left in Iberia. 3 of them are one province vassals, and then we have Navarra, Galicia, Catalonia, and Leon, which are the big boys. So as soon as I'm done with the smaller ones, I will start annexing my remaining large vassals. I guess I will. Oh no, you're not assimilating, are you? Well, that's a shame. I guess I'll begin with Navarra, because Catalonia seems to actually be assimilating their land. And Leon, honestly, I have no idea what to do with Leon. You know what? I'll probably begin with Leon. This is a record. There was a rebellion here, it ended, and the next day, literally the next day, which was the 1st of November, there was another rebellion. Oh, these are so out of control. These are like bizarre. We are getting quite a decent bit of conversion here. We're also getting more assimilation than I expected. I mean, this I understand because obviously these areas were just so depopulated, and our colonial nations have nothing better to do than to assimilate the land anyways. But we're also seeing quite a bit of, cultural conversion here in Mesoamerica. And this is actually fairly densely populated land with fairly entrenched cultures. So I wasn't expecting to see this much assimilation, that's for sure. But anyways, while our armies are raised, I might as well declare this war here, because these guys definitely don't seem intent on declaring war on Purepecha. And I guess Purepecha is going to be our next target. The truce is almost over, we can declare war next year. And once we have these two, Mesoamerica will finally, after, gosh, how long has it been? 60 years? I think something like that. 60 years. It took us 60 years to conquer this land. The Spanish did it in 3. Okay, we are falling behind schedule a bit. The rebellion is practically over, but I realized that our colonial nations did not join the war here. Do they have like a truce with these guys? Honestly, I guess I'm just going to have to hire a couple mercenaries and take care of it myself. We can finally embrace confessionalism, and yes, please, yes, so much. I'm going to, after, well, do we even need these? Oh, the iron output is pretty nice. Gems output could be useful. I'm not quite sure about these two. Like, we already have maxed maritime presence in most places, I think. I think I'm going to cancel these, and instead I will get the advances for the extra reform and extra cabinets. And another one bites the dust. This leaves only the 2 location miner of Purepecha, the tiny remnants of a once mighty empire as our sole adversary in Mesoamerica, and it looks like they're going to get annexed pretty soon as well. I'm going to give this land to Tsinsun San, and then we're going to gear up for the conquest of Purepecha. Before the Purepecha, though, we actually gained a CB on the Sachapulla, so I guess it's going back to the Andes for us again. Money is just a number. Oh, you sneaky, sneaky Paradox. I don't want the spy network, and I'm certainly not willing to pay 4,000 ducats for it, but money is just a number. And so is aggressive expansion, and so is diplomatic capacity, and I guess so are a lot of things in this game. And there goes the last remnant of the northern Andean civilization. They will be fed to our vassal. Which one? Do I want to extend Huancavilca further south? Is there room for like a third Andean vassal here? I'm not sure. What's the proximity like? Fairly terrible. Yeah, they aren't getting anything here. But that is to be expected. You know what? I think I'm going to annex Ichma and maybe... Oh, yeah, whatever. I'll just split it between the two of them. And the northern part goes to Guancavilca, the southern part goes to Pupina. Ah, that is lovely. I was going to create a CB on these guys myself, but looks like my vassal took care of it for us. Now the question is, do you have enough levies to beat them? And I think not, so I'm going to hire maybe one mercenary unit here and just march it into their capital. And once we have a CB on these guys, I'm creating the spy network right now, we can use the same mercenaries to beat them as well. Meanwhile in the south, our soldiers have recovered, and it is time that we declare war on Ichma, which will end with their total annexation as well, of course. That went about as well as could be expected. Ichma is going to be annexed, and let's see whether we can... Oh no, it's occupied by our colonial nation. So we'll have to wait a while. They will eventually come around to annexing them, and I can create a CB over here. I'm already creating a CB on Purepecha, and I guess our next target is going to be these guys over here. And once they have been conquered, there will be no other nations left in the Americas. Oh wait, these guys. I have no idea what happened here. I have no idea how or why Raritan just released them, but okay, we're going to conquer you as well. It always feels kind of funny seeing the colony of Southern Vancouver pop up, but we have indeed been colonizing the Pacific Northwest, and honestly, if we weren't here, our vassals would be like these guys. For some reason, are so hungry for land to colonize that I had to snatch a couple locations here out of who was it? Anahuac, yes, this little nation over here. So I've been releasing a couple colonial nations. We will have one in Alaska, Sungjap, and we have Cascadia here, of course, whom I'm going to feed most of this land here. Well, I guess they'll have the Great Basin. I'm not quite sure whether I should release another colony here in Vancouver. You know what? It might make sense. I'll probably feed like this area over to Alaska, and this area over to Vancouver, and the basin itself to Cascadia, and that should work pretty well, I guess. So once again, I was sleeping on this war because I thought that my subject could peace out themselves, but apparently they can't, so we're going to peace them out. And look at that, they annexed everything. You could have done that yourself there, buddy. Now, this peace will allow me to parcel out the land here between Coquina and Guadalquivir, or whatever they are called. And it will also let me hand out some of the Pacific Northwest to my colonies as well. Another cabinet opening and another prodigy is going to take its place. I am extremely satisfied with my cabinet right now, except for, somewhat ironically, the Grand Vizier. But just look at this guy, and these two are fairly decent as well. So it's just the Grand Vizier that's mediocre, and these are younger brothers, so nepotism for the win, I guess. So it seems that Hochelaga is trying to right Raritan's wrong, and they've declared war on the Onondagega, pardon me. I'm going to accept that. And would you look at that, we have another war over here, this time against Kanem, Sokoto, and Fezan. Sheesh. You should not have started that war, buddy. Sokoto has 6,500 regulars? No way, you're on your own. If you get conquered, I don't care. I don't care about Africa at all. Unlike some other Europeans, such as Aquileia and Genoa over here. And what's that? Oh, thank God, I thought this was also an Achillean colony. County of Kilimane. Okay, so the Italians are interested in Africa for whatever reason. What else? Do we have anything else that is going on? Okay, whatever the hell that is in Manchuria. Oh, that's a rebellion. Right, because Goryeo had annexed most of the lands here. So much for the Hermit Kingdom. And looks like we have a Sengoku Jidai situation in Japan. Oh boy. Just look at that. Look at all of those landed plans. I hear it's pretty broken trying to play in Japan right now because of the way that the building-based country mechanics work. But if it wasn't, I would certainly do a Japanese run. And if you look at Asia, you will see that we have line of sight over practically everything. I stole all of these maps. I didn't discover a single land location in Asia myself. This is all coming from me stealing from the hordes, and later on me stealing from the East Asians and the Indians. And just look at that. I have practically all of Southeast Asia, practically all of China. Everything. You can get so far in this game simply by stealing all the maps. Anything else? Yeah, I guess it's same old, and you know, it's about time that we got a crusade, don't you think? We don't have any truces with anyone. I guess they'll knock on my door in a couple of years saying, "Hi, we've come to reclaim Jerusalem." There we go, war against the Purepecha. And we are in control, lovely. So this will allow me to actually annex the Purepecha without having to spend CB on them, which is a shame because I think I either already had the CB. Oh yeah, I actually had the CB. Interesting. And we should start creating CBs on these two guys as well. And we have the first of what is doubtlessly going to be countless rebellions in the Andes as well. I've raised a small stack of mercenaries, and I'm going to keep them around for the next 5 years. I will probably use them in my annexation of the small Andean states over here as well. So whatever remains will be ours, and we will be the undoubted masters of the Americas. And it is time that we made peace. With this peace deal, all of Mesoamerica belongs to our colonial nation. And with this peace deal, all of Northeastern America also belongs to our colonial nation. When we annex this guy over here, all of North America will be ours. And after this rebellion has been put down and we annex these 4 little statelets, all of South America will be ours as well. Essentially, we have conquered the Western Hemisphere. And what's going on in Greenland exactly? Oh, okay, Greenland has actually broken free. And you know what that means? I'm going to attack them as well. I have a few small colonies over here already, and I guess if I annex the rest of Greenland, I could release them as another colonial nation. Lovely. We enjoyed a brief moment of peace, and I used the opportunity to clean up borders in certain areas. So Chesapeake was once again pushed east of the what are these mountains called? Appalachians. Yes, I was going to say the Alleghenies. So Chesapeake has been pushed east of the Appalachian Mountains. Down here, the Andes region is divided evenly between our two viceroyalties, and I cleaned up the borders a bit in Mexico as well. Now, let's continue with our annexations back in Iberia. I'm going to start annexing Huesca and Barbastro, and after they're done, we're going to focus on Leon and Catalonia most likely. And once we have an extra diplomat, it's wartime against the Tano. I have no idea what's going on with the wars in Iberia. Like, first it was the small vassal over here, and now it's straight up Galicia who's declaring war on Leon. What even is the war goal is cut down in size? What the hell? And they're declaring this on Leon. They're not declaring war on us. Loyalty of Leon is... oh my god. Honestly, I could full annex them, but then I would have to spend a cabinet action of 5 cabinet actions actually integrating them. You know what? I'll probably accept them back as a vassal, but would it cost me too much to do so? If I make a white peace, will they like accept, or will they become my vassal again? Honestly, I'm not sure. Let me check it out. I'm going to do some research to see whether it works. Turns out, yes, it works. If you just white piece them out the moment they declare war on Leon, they become your fiefdom again. Which is unexpected, but really it's nothing compared to the incessant crusades against us. But anyways, I guess the one issue here is... interesting. So it doesn't even reset the subject clock. Usually you have to have someone as your subject for 10 years, I believe, before you can annex them. And in this case, it didn't reset that timer, even though we actually went to war with them, so they stopped being our subject. And we're getting insane country strength modifiers here. We should probably get another crusade called on us, so that our levies, our vassals' levies, can get wiped. Yeah, that will reduce their strength by quite a bit. And since we white pieced our way out of that war, it means it is wartime against the Tano. Again, a religious war, and this is literally going to be us walking into their capital, beating their army, and full annexing them in the span of 2 months. Just as expected, and with this peace deal, we are the undisputed masters of North America. Sure, there's a lot of uncolonized land, but nobody else can reach it. We have all of the coasts locked down by our colonial nations, even the west coast, except bits of Alaska, but we're working on those, no worries there. And essentially what's going to happen now is we are just going to let our vassals have an open buffet on the Great Plains, and we're going to assist them with our own charters here and there. Now I'm going to turn my gaze back into South America, and as soon as the CBs have been created on the Andeans, we're going to attack them and annex them all together at once. Our CBs have been fabricated in the southern two Andeans over here, and I'm going to declare war and full annex them. Again, it should take only a couple of months. In this case, occupying the country took less time than 1 month, so I can't annex them because our diplomat literally can't reach them. Like, he's still on the way, and I've already occupied the country. Isn't that just funny? Alright, we will annex you lot, and we will also annex you guys. And I will feed both of them to Pokina. I will send the soldiers up north. As soon as the CBs are finished, I'm going to do the same to these two countries here. The CBs are here, and I will begin the attacks immediately. Unfortunately, I forgot about the southern hemisphere winter here, and we cannot move into the mountains. So it's going to be a few months, maybe 3, 4, 5 months, before we can actually attack and annex these guys. Wow, I certainly did not expect that. So turns out, even though we are Muslim, and the location is also entirely Muslim, Calvinist preachers can and do spread to our country. What happens if we try to destroy them? Oh, cost 5 stability, jeez. I guess I'm going to let them do their job. Like, what's the conversion here? I'm curious, will they actually convert anyone? They did. They are converting people. Huh. Can I, like, is there any way of destroying these? Other than, just... Can I just close them? If this works, this might be the funniest thing that I've encountered in this game if this actually works. Like, okay, I'm going to take a look here. We're going to wait a month. Let's see if closing the buildings actually... Oh no, they're still converting people. Oh wait, we also got a new government reform here. And for now, I'm going with fixed vassal obligations, I think. Do we have anything better? There are some options. But I think I'm just going ahead and getting the extra vassal loyalty, since that is sorely lacking. Look at this list. All of the French vassals are essentially rebellious because of the huge country strength malices that they get. And plus 15 loyalty should count for quite a bit, I guess. And it's curious, like, so this is a fiefdom. Fiefdom. I'm guessing the disloyal ones are the fiefdoms, and the vassals are doing quite alright. So if I annex, Catalonia should be a fiefdom as well, yes. So if I annex Leon, Navarra, Catalonia, and maybe Galicia, if I annex all of the Iberians here, that should keep the rest in line. Like, that should reduce the country strength relative modifier to a low enough level that they will be loyal, I guess. And I just realized the number of Calvinists is dropping. I think you can literally close the building and it stops the Calvinist conversions from happening. Oh my god, this is the funniest exploit that I've found so far. It's like Is someone trying to convert you to Protestantism? Just say no. They can't convert you without your consent. Alright, enough goofing around. I've already destroyed your armies. I am now going to full annex you. Oh, you won't even let me take all your treasury. Wow, I can annex you, but I can't take your money. Alright. And our next target is going to be the final remaining nation, independent nation, in the Americas, the County of Hananchanka. And they are going to be destroyed in a religious war. It is the 3rd of April 1567 and it is a glorious day. The last ember of resistance against Granadan rule in the Americas has been extinguished. There are no independent nations remaining in the Americas. These are all our colonial nations. We have conquered the entirety of the New World, and now we only need to colonize the rest. Wait, what's the... Oh my god. Of course, there is Greenland. Greenland is not the America. No, no, no. Don't listen to that orange guy. I'm still going to conquer them though. Okay, I honestly don't know what's wrong here. It looks like the Crusades stopped and now Galicia has taken their place. So Galicia is just declaring war every 4 or 5 years. I mean, I guess if we full annexed them and just integrated them the old-fashioned way, that could work. So this is almost all. There are still a few Galicians remaining here that they are converting, but you know, it's just a single province. But this is almost all Andalusi. It shouldn't be too difficult to integrate. And if we let them live, they just do this whole, oh, I'm at war, I'm attacking you shtick every 4 or 5 years, so I guess I'm going to full annex them right now. And they have 4,000 regulars. I'll call upon a French mercenary band. I will full occupy them and then it's annexation time for Galicia. Huesca and Barbastro have been annexed. And Galicia is going to be annexed pretty soon, so that leaves only Navarra, Catalonia, and Leon as our remaining vassals in Iberia. And I'm guessing I can get through these in maybe another 10-20 years. And after I do, we will finally be able to form Al-Andalus. Oh, in fact, I can actually form Al-Andalus the moment I annex Galicia. That is lovely. So something good is going to come out of this war at least. The moment has come. We are able to fully annex Galicia, and upon doing so, we will be able to form the Caliphate of Al-Andalus. Once all of Iberia was commanded by the glorious Muslim rulers of Al-Andalus, who brought unparalleled beauty and innovation with their reign. Let us now repudiate the shameful Christian reconquista and retake the rightful lands of our ancestors. And that is exactly what we're doing. We are now the Andalusi Empire. The Reconquista has come to its rightful conclusion. And as soon as we manage to annex these 3 vassals, all of Iberia will be under our direct control. At this point, we have accomplished the goal that I set for us at the very start of this campaign, 14 episodes ago. We have restored Al-Andalus to its rightful former glory. But there remains a greater goal, the total domination and colonization of the Americas. And for that, we have to work a bit harder. So it turns out there's a small problem with annexing Leon. It's going to take forever. Well, not forever, but 55 years, 45 years. which is still quite a long time. So I'm going to use a trick here to speed this up. I'm going to create a custom subject, and this will actually save me the trouble of having to integrate all of these areas at once as well. Actually, let me I should probably create a vassal. Okay, the vassal makes sense because it's the fiefdoms who have extra liberty desire right now. You look fair enough. I can put you in. And what I'm going to do next is I will transfer some of the locations of Leon to the new custom vassal that I've created. So let's say something like all of the Asturias region here, just like that. And I'm going to do this again by releasing another custom subject. If I can click this, there we go. Over here, again, let's make them a vassal. Let's put a member of our dynasty at their head. You look quite okay. And I'm going to feed them maybe these two or these three provinces over here. And would you look at that? The annexation timer is now until the 1st of February 1585 because we now get the Leone's much smaller bonus to our annexation speed. I could do this again. I think the ideal size is something like 2 provinces. So now this vassal over here has become a bit too large, in fact. But I think 1585 is acceptable. It's going to take 16 years. I could make it slightly faster by downgrading their locations, their towns, to being rural locations as well, because towns cost quite a bit to integrate when you are diplo annexing a vassal. But it's just money. You can always rebuild a town if you let it go for one day. All of the buildings are gone, of course, but such is life sometimes. There isn't much you can do in the pursuit of faster annexations. And if we look over here now, there we go. They only have 1 town remaining. Oh, they have a town remaining. And that cut the annexation timer by another year, actually. Because a town costs much more than a rural settlement, and a city costs much more compared to a rural settlement. But still, I'm not quite sure about annexing Leon right now. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Navarra and Catalonia first. But Catalonia is going to take just as long. Oh, gee. Alright, I'll start annexing them. I think it's quite alright. Like 19 years is a long time, but we don't have anything better to do anyways. We're just colonizing over here and enjoying the sun, I guess. And in the meantime, I am going to annex Greenland. Oh wow, there. Allied with Orkney? I'll just ignore Orkney and, destroy Greenland. Interesting. They have 5,000 people. At some point, I believe they went all the way down to 1,000. 5,000 is quite a lot. Anyways, a religious war, and there we go. This is actually quite funny. There is no passage, there's no land passage between these two locations. So I had to hire a navy, and the navy had 1 cog, which can carry 450 people at once. And these guys are 500 people apiece. So now I'm hiring a second navy just to get from this end of the province to this end of the province. Well, as it turns out, I hired mercenaries, but the Greenlanders had their own mercenaries. Halberdiers. Oh, sheesh. They wouldn't accept a... Hold up. Could I simply make them... No, I can't make them a vassal. Okay, you know what? I'm going to just take half of their land. I'm just going to take half of their land. I could also humiliate them. Or maybe take over market center and declare an embargo on them. That could work as well. I'll just take half of their land, and in the next war, I will take the other half. And in the next war, I will be able to walk my armies to their capital, so that should help quite a bit. Okay, there's definitely a bug going on, either with Galicia or Leon or both. Because now that I have annexed Galicia, these guys declared war. And also they are in Galicia. And interestingly enough, all the Crusades initially targeted Galicia. There is definitely something fishy going on here. We have another cabinet seat, thanks to another advance that we researched. And I guess this is going to come quite in handy. Sultan Yusuf II? Sultan of Galicia, oh my god. Oh, so our heir actually became briefly the Sultan of Galicia. That's interesting. And he has an expansionist trait as well. Oh, that is nice. I should probably put my own Sultan in on a boat so that he will die more quickly. And this guy does look pretty decent. Okay. So, can I annex you lot? I can annex you, but Leon gets these 3 locations. You know what? I'm fine with that. It's going to make annexing them a bit harder, but you know, what can you do sometimes? And we will have to now integrate all of these lands. After year of budgetary crises, it looks like our income and expenses have stabilized quite a bit. And I presume that the lack of Crusades, which hit us recently, has been quite helpful in this regard. So right now, half of our budget goes to maintaining our colonies, a quarter goes to the diplomatic spending, and an eighth or something, closer to a tenth maybe, goes to the cost of the court, and the remainder goes to building maintenance essentially. At this point, we've actually started colonizing entire regions, so the entire Alaskan coast has been colonized. There are some inland areas that our vassals will have to colonize on their own, but I'm considering this to be finished for the most part. And all of the coasts in both North and South America have been colonized. La Plata, I believe, has been almost entirely colonized. We have a few locations here, and our colonies are getting around to colonizing them. And this is a mess, but I'm going to feed all of this stuff to Wichi. And South America in general is pretty done. Like, all of Brazil is done. And we are working on Peru. We have occasional patches over here. The yellow ones are the ones that we haven't gotten around to yet. But mostly, Southern America is done. Mesoamerica is practically done. And honestly, all that remains right now is the colonization of the Great Basin here and the Great Plains over here in the middle of North America. And we have a new emperor, Yusuf III, who is our best emperor so far. Just look at those stats. Absolutely amazing. Giga chat of an emperor here. You're not... He's not... Okay, thankfully now. For a second there I thought he was the admiral because I put him there, but apparently he's left that post now. And instead of our ruler, I'm going to put Abu Bakr over here. And we have a bit more to do. Now our colonization projects have been going splendidly. In South America we only have very tiny little areas left which have not been colonized. Just look at that border gore, isn't it amazing? And in North America we are making steady progress. I'm going to leave these areas to our vassals. In fact, maybe not. Let me get this so I can ensure that the border here stays relatively reasonable. And now we're going to put all our efforts into colonizing the Great Plains. which, trust me, is easier said than done. Just look at that distance here, and look at all those tiny little corridors that eventually we will have to colonize in order to complete our goal of full colonization of the Americas. Well, my old buddy Greenland, you had a good run, you gave us the fright, but this is going to be your end. Religious war? I have my merc set ready, so this shouldn't take all that long. And, whoa, we get a rebellion. I don't care. I don't care about the rebellions at this point. Gardar has been occupied. Occupy the rest of the country, come on. And will this allow me to annex Greenland? Yes, it will. Lovely. There we go. Greenland is ours. And I'm going to feed these lands to our vassal over here in a moment. And hopefully I can also feed them the remainder of Greenland, but I'm not sure. The naval proximity seems to work rather differently when you're feeding lands to your vassal. It is 1589, and if you look at South America over here, it's all colonized. We hold the Falklands and the Galapagos Islands directly, and all of the remaining land in South America is held by our colonial nations. They are fighting each other. I mean, it's kind of silly that you can't stop them from fighting each other, but it leads to quite a bit of border gore. As you can see here in Brazil, things are definitely wild, and all of these impassable areas makes our job slightly harder, and the border gore looks way worse than it really is. But if you look over here, New Granada has pretty nice borders. Our viceroyalties in the Andes are pretty okay. Peru is essentially a slightly shorter, slightly wider Chile at this point. La Plata looks okay. Brazil in the coast mostly looks okay, and really it's the inland land grab that caused us most of the border gore here. But well, South America is done, and we are one step closer to our final goal, which is getting North America also. And if you look over here, most of the coast, in fact all of the coast, has been colonized, and we're just slowly colonizing, pushing the borders in the Great Plains, in the Canadian Prairie, and in the Great Basin here. So this is all the land that we need to colonize now. I'm not quite sure whether we'll get there by 1600, but it's going to be close, and we're definitely going to make it before the age of absolutism. At this point, since we are at the final sprint here, I'm going to go all in on minting. And I'm also going to start taxing the ulama as well. For our expenses, it's really just colonies and diplomatic spending and a bit of building maintenance. And we can't really do anything regarding the diplomatic spending, since we also want to annex our vassals back home. So Catalonia, Leon, and Navarra have to be annexed, so we can get pretty borders in Iberia. But I'm going to go all in on minting, and I will have as many simultaneous colonies as possible. Again, unlike EU4, the cost here, I believe, does not increase exponentially. You just get an additional 50% per colony you have, so the game actually allows you to have a lot more colonies than you could sustain in EU4. Catalonia is annexed in 1590, and this leaves only the 3 vassals here in Iberia. I'm not sure what the implications are here with Catalonia. I think I'll probably move the local governor from Valencia to Tortosa, so we get slightly better proximity and control here in the eastern coast. And I'm just going to start annexing the Sheikhdom of Lugo. Now the other vassals, Navarre and Leon, if I were to start annexing them now, they would take longer than 1600, which is kind of our cutoff point here. So unfortunately, you won't be able to annex them by the end of this campaign, assuming that our colonization process goes as expected. But you know, eventually we would have gotten them. Eventually we would have pretty borders in Iberia. There is a case to be made here. I could just declare war on them and take all of their land, but honestly, there is no need. Our focus is not on annexation, our focus is on colonization for this playthrough. Lugo was the next in 1597, and this leaves only Navarre and Leon, both of whom I'm annexing as we speak. And if we look over here to the Americas, our colonies are coming along nicely. Again, it's mostly the Great Plains that are left. I don't think we'll get there by 1600, but I'm guessing 1610 to 1620 seems like a slightly more reasonable time frame given where we are. And the big problem here is the further away you get from your capital or from your own land, the less of a colonial growth that you get. So these are getting like 14, 24, 30, 40 settlers a month, whereas our colonies on the coast would get up to 100, 200. So I'm using the boost charter action, which is giving me a decent bit of push towards some charters. But of course I can only use this in 6 charters, or using 6 different cabinet members. And I'm actually using 2 of them to assimilate the population here and there. I also figured that, I'm not sure if this is working as intended, but I think you can also assimilate people in your subjects, because I'm assimilating the Leon area right now. Oh, okay, so it doesn't work like that. Alright. But it certainly did appear to be affecting my subjects as well. Whereas apparently it's only working for the land that I own myself. And even not all of those. Oh wait, I just annexed these, so it wouldn't count immediately. But anyways, that's where we are right now. I'm guessing the wholesale colonization of the Americas will take another 15-20 years. And if you look at this map, well, our colonial nations have been hard at work converting everyone to Andalusi culture. Like, even most of Mesoamerica is Andalusi, and you know, these places had fairly high populations before we came here and annexed them. And same in South America. The Andes are still holding out. Most of these we have recently colonized or conquered, but you know, in general, we have pretty strong cultural growth, assimilation, and if you look at the religion map mode, conversion as well. It is the year 1600. Well, unfortunately we couldn't get there. Our goal of getting everything in the Americas by 1600 has failed. And honestly, the only reason is this is the Great Plains, and this is so far away from any coastline that our colonial migration just sucks. Like, look at these numbers. But we are doing pretty good progress. Our colonial nations are eating all of this land up, and we have something like 20, 30 different charters running simultaneously. So I'm still confident that we'll get it before the age of absolutism hits. And we will need to take care of the interior over here. So inland Alaska, inland Yukon, inland British Columbia maybe. I'm not quite sure where the province boundaries are in Canada, to be honest. And maybe, just maybe, we might need to circle back and get these 2 couple provinces. But I'm fairly confident that our colonial nations will get them before we do. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to have a couple more updates, maybe once when we finish annexing our Iberian subjects, and once when the entire thing has been colonized. Navarra was annexed in 1607. It took a bit longer than expected because we had multiple annexations going on, which slows down each different annexation you have going. But, well, they're now a part of our country. And if you look at the New World, it is almost over. Like, we have all of the Great Plains states under colonization. We just have a few stragglers here that I will put a colony on very soon. And we just have a couple here in the interior of Alaska. So really we're almost there. We just need a few more provinces. and this run will be complete. And we are officially out of places to place a colony in. So we are colonizing everywhere that we can in the Americas. There are a couple more corridors up here that will eventually open up once we colonize the rest of this area. But in all, we are getting so close to our target, and you can see it in the physical map as well. Just look at that. The Great Plains are almost over, and we have huge chunks of interior Alaska and of the Canadian Northwest already colonized, and we are working towards the rest. It's the year 1610 and we have annexed Leon. Well, this brings all of Iberia under our direct control, with the exception of Gibraltar, which honestly I just didn't bother taking it away from Morocco. And well, if I attack them, I'm fairly certain that we could easily win. But there really is no need. Like, again, I just made a promise to ignore the old world entirely. And if the French didn't, be a buzzkill and decide to declare a crusade on me, I would have simply ignored them as well. Just, stayed in Iberia. So there is no need to reclaim those 4 locations when we have thousands of locations in the New World that we can colonize instead. But still, it feels good. I mean, it's taken us 200 years to annex all of our vassals, to make Iberia go back under our direct rule. But I guess it takes a long time to centralize your empire. It is the year 1620, and all of the Great Plains have been colonized. We practically own all of the Americas at this point. Just look at our colonial nation. But there is a single holdout in essentially the border between modern day Alaska and Canada. So we still have to get these 3 or 4 provinces over here, and they should take maybe 5 years, maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more. The issue is we're getting so little colonial migration due to the Arctic locations over here that it's really hampering our colonial growth, even though we have a bunch of other modifiers here. Just colonizing in the Arctics is not for the faint of heart, let me tell you that. But anyways, we just need a few more years before these colonies are complete as well, and then we will have complete domination over the Americas. It is the year 1624. It is the 1st of June, and with the colonization of Coppermine, our dominance over the Americas is absolute. There are no more possible colonies left in the Americas. And just look at this. Look at the scale of this border gore. Of course, I'm going to let them join the Viceroyalty of Vapusk. And well, this is basically it. We have accomplished the goal that we set for ourselves after conquering the entirety of Iberia. We have achieved supremacy over the Americas. Not a single other nation holds any territory whatsoever in the Western Hemisphere. And in fact, the colonization of these northern lands took so long that I even managed to colonize most of Australia and New Zealand just for fun, because I had nothing better to do. And just look at the size of that empire. Just look how pretty it is. So this is it. This is the end of the campaign that I like to call the Jewel of Al-Andalus. We have achieved superiority over the Americas. We hold all the lands here. We also have some colonies down here in Africa. The Mali Empire stole most of our Western African domains, but honestly, I didn't really care. I was just super focused on the colonization game. For some reason, Genoa is colonizing the Congo. Again, I'm just ignoring that stuff. We have a small colony down here in South Africa. Our autonomous colony has essentially colonized all of Madagascar, which is lovely. And we have explored pretty much the entire known world. Now we have some stalled explorations. I have no idea what's going on here. It's probably a bug or I'm missing something, but essentially we have line of sight over the entire world, minus, is this Guam? I think it's Guam. And parts of Siberia and the southern Indian Ocean. And mind you, I didn't send a single expedition into inland Asia. This is all maps that I stole. Like, I just used my spy network to steal all of this stuff here. And for some reason, the Great Chen has managed to colonize these islands, which is just funny. And Goryeo, I believe, is either colonizing or maybe they just have dominance over these impassable tiles, so that's why they look so big. But yeah, that's basically it. If we go to our budget, we have 138% inflation. Honestly, I did not know that you could have more than 100% inflation, so I learned something from this campaign. And we're getting 1,300 ducats in trade income, mostly from selling the chili and cocoa from the New World, all across Europe and even in Asia. We are getting a decent bit from our vassals here. The colonial nations don't really contribute much except for the ones in Mesoamerica. The others just have such low tax base and populations that they can't really contribute anything. But again, the lion's share of our budget comes from our taxes. We're not taxing the ulama right now, so it's mostly the umara, the nobles, that are paying the taxes. And honestly, if we look at our country, we have something like 5,600 tax base. This could be much higher. Like, I didn't even invest anything in Iberia for the last 100 years. I just built a couple local governors, some roads. So basically all of this is coming from whatever our estates managed to build. And if you look at the ledger over here, we are the second most populous country in the world. We have surpassed the Indians, we have surpassed the Mamluks. We have the second highest budget of any country in the world. We've managed to surpass Daiviet, and I'm guessing that these two are being propped up by the treasure fleet from the Chinese Empire, so there is that as well. Our culture is dominant. We have the highest cultural influence. We have the highest cultural tradition. And wow, would you look at that? We have 56 million people. I think we are the most populous culture, yeah. Because China is divided, we have the most populous culture. And I'm fairly certain that if we played this to the end of the game, the number of Andalusi pops would simply surpass the number of Chinese pops. Like, Great Chen has 122 million here. We wouldn't be able to surpass that in Iberia, but given all our colonies, we would definitely be able to surpass that. And if you look at the cultures map mode, oh, just look at that. Look at the beauty of this. There are still native holdouts in Mesoamerica and in South America, but overall it's just one big huge blob of Andalusi culture and Sunni Islam. Like, even over here in quite a lot of French territories, Andalusi remains dominant in Brittany, in Poitou. It's spreading through Toulouse. We haven't managed to convert everyone in Iberia yet. The Catalans are still holding out. We are assimilating them slowly. The Leonese are holding out just for now. They will not last long. They would not have lasted long if I continued this campaign. And you look at the wealth map mode, obviously the silver mine with 19 levels is our main source of income. It's our highest gross province. Ishbilia is pretty okay. Like, this could definitely be better. Again, I've been completely ignoring the economic game for the past 150 years almost. And if we look around in Europe a bit, honestly, we aren't doing that well economically because I just haven't been investing in anything. I haven't even been upgrading the guilds properly. We still have guilds instead of like workshops or some of the newer buildings. So, anyways, now if we look at the control map mode, we have decent control. We have pretty okay proximity. We have a couple inland governors here. We have one naval governor in Turtusha, which is spreading proximity all around. But interestingly enough, most of our proximity spread is coming from Bahrain, which has 100 proximity source due to having a naval governor and a lieutenancy. So if you're playing as an Iberian nation, definitely don't sleep on these. Like, if you combine these two, you can have 100 proximity source. So essentially, you can have with a naval governor or a local governor that you put in an overseas province. Maybe you move your capital and then you move it back. You can essentially achieve 100 proximity cost. You can have multiple capitals, at least 3, up to 6 if you manage to play your cards right. And it is just insane. I think the Playmaker had a video where he just moved his capital to India and he had 100% proximity and 100 control in large chunks of India by using the local governor plus lieutenancy exploit. So definitely take a look at that one if you're interested. But anyways, this is basically it. We have taken the tiny nation of Granada far. We have reclaimed all of our ancestral lands in Iberia, and we have sailed beyond, and we have become the doubtless masters of the new world. So thank you all for watching this series. I presume all of you are subscribed, but if you aren't, I would really appreciate it if you did subscribe. And do let me know in the comments what nation that you want me to play as next. So I've played a conquest game, I've played a colonization game, and I think for my next game, ideally I will play something that will allow me to build up tall, just focus on the economy, focus on development, that kind of stuff. So let me know if you have any ideas, and I will definitely consider them. And with all that being said, I will see you once again in the war room.